sales order. Going to enter a sales order in NetSuite. First thing we do is find our Google Chrome desktop icon, either right up here somewhere on your screen or most likely down here. Click on that. For a lot of you, I've set up, either myself or Shane, set up a button when you open this. Just click your Sandbox NetSuite button. If you've been getting to the NetSuite Sandbox website through maybe one of the links myself or Paige sent out, just keep going there. It doesn't really matter how you get there as long as you have a way to get there. Once you get to this screen, just sign in. All right. Now that we are signed in, again, this is our home screen, or your dashboard, as we'll start calling it. Again, if you ever want to get here from any of the screens, you just click this little home button and it brings you back to the very beginning. A couple items, you all should now be seeing a screen similar to this, where I've cleaned it up a bit, and just basically you have your shortcuts. So it's really right now in the beginning the main, maybe the only area you're really going to be dealing with. Just have your customers where you can go to see all your customers. You enter your sales order, items, and quotes. At the top here, this is your global search bar. You can look up anything in this item, in this area, items, customers, just about anything you can think of. All you got to do is just start typing a few letters, and then you can usually pick from there, but you can do that. Also, this little up here at the top, this little piece of paper with a plus sign is an actions tab. That will always be up there. You can just go directly to a sales order. You can personalize it and have whatever buttons that you use the most up here, so you can quickly just navigate through. Also showed many of you, but if you're in the middle of a call with a customer, or if you're in the middle of entering an order and a customer calls you, just go up to the tab at the top of the screen and right-click and hit duplicate. Now you have another tab to where while you're on the phone with a customer, you can go and type in their account real quick and help them without losing your spot entering an order. Okay, so going back to entering a sales order, what we'll do is just click on Enter Sales Order here at the shortcuts on our sales order screen here. This custom form area, I just found this out the other day working with Louisiana guys. This is always going to default to Tyler sales order, so you Tyler sales reps don't need to worry about this. But any of you guys in Louisiana, you need to make sure to change it to Minden sales order, because they haven't found a way to get it to default to that yet. Michael said he thinks he knows how and is working on it, but at this time he said just to make sure that you just kind of make sure it's whatever location your warehouse is at of. Once we're here, we're going to go to the customer tab and type in a customer you're wanting to enter an order for. Again, type in the first few letters and then select it from the list. Takes a few seconds to load, usually about 4 or 5 seconds. Now, once it's loaded, you have your PO up here if you have a PO. Now, the memo and the comment, I've had some questions on that. The comment section is only for people in NetSuite. So if yourself, you can see any comments you leave yourself, or to maybe customer service, anybody that's logged in on the internet. The memo section is what gets printed onto the invoices. So if you need to leave a note for a driver, to call before delivering, or to deliver to a specific location, that's where you would enter that. Be careful because there's only so much we can print on the invoices. So although you feel like you can just type, 8 paragraphs, it might not all get printed on the invoice. So just try to keep it as brief as possible. After you get all that, scroll down a little bit and we'll come to the commission scenario. This is where your sales numbers will be. Although they're not going to be numbers anymore, they're going to be listed as warehouse, direct, bid, network, new business. But these will be linked to your sales numbers. It automatically defaults to warehouse, so unless you need to change it to something else, you don't even need to mess with this. Going down the screen a little bit more, come to this next blue bar right here that has our shipping, have our ship date. What we're going to look for here is if you have your ship to is right here in this gray box. If you only have one location, that's what it should default to. If you have more than one location, then you'll hit this drop down and pick from the different ship tos. Once you click on it, it should change it in this gray box. One area I haven't talked much about is this ship complete radio button. So some of you have orders where your customers specify that they want the complete order, not a partial order. So if that's the case, you need to make sure you check that box. Now that we've checked everything in shipping, we go up here to items. This is where we're going to enter our items at. Now, in the beginning, we just installed this Infor History button, and what this button contains is the previous 7 months of history of your customer. So this is basically a note for you, just to help you out. This shows you their last 7 months from January 1st to July 2015 of their order history. So we can see, the items they bought, the date, and the last price sold. So whenever we start entering orders August 1st without any history data, we're just going to have to use this information. Say we're going to do this 1436 liner. What we'll probably end up doing is just copy and pasting that item number. Make sure we remember $22.20 was the last price they paid. Go down here to the item number, and notice I didn't even close it. I just kept it open since there's going to be a few most likely on there we'll add. I'll just copy and paste it in there, click on it, it loads. Now, something to note is you will get pop-ups like this from time to time. I would advise reading them because it could be some good information, in this case saying we don't have any in stock. So if you were wanting to sub an item, you would need to know that. In this case, just click OK. We'll scroll over. On here, it'll be able to see how many's in stock by how many's on hand. But right now, we're going to go over here to the price level, and we want to change pricing. So we're going to click landed cost, and the drop down here, you see there's different percentages. If you want to change your margin to a percentage, 30%, 40, whatever it may be, do that. In this case, we're wanting to do $22.20. So we'll just do custom, and that opens up this sales price field where you can click in there and enter the last cost they paid. It brings it over here as well. So once we have that in there, we will hit add and just enter any more items you might have. Now, in the future, say September, October, November, most of you, like myself, will be using the history button, going off of the items they've purchased that that have been purchased in the system we have record of. In that case, you would just click the history button, go in here, enter how many cases of what you want. Once you enter that, you hit add items, and it enters them down here. So when it enters them down here, we'll have it's going to go at the last price they bought it at. So unless you want to change the pricing, if you want to change the pricing, you need to go in there and go through what we just did earlier, get landed cost, and then do it at a percentage or a custom. But if you just want to sell it at the last price they bought it at, then there's nothing else you need to do on this screen. So make sure that everything's added. There's no it looks like there's nothing else to do here. So you'll have to make sure you hit save. When you hit save, this is how you enter your order. So a few of you have asked if there's any way to mess anything up, or what's the best way to close or get out of NetSuite. And the answer is you can just X out of it. Just get out of it, go to a new screen. You're not going to mess anything up. The only thing you could mess up is your own orders. So if you don't save it, then you click out of it, that order never went through. So again, we just hit save, and at this point we get our order confirmation, order number, and that's pretty much it, guys. It's like I said, it shouldn't take but a couple minutes, to do it. And if you need to go back and edit it, you can always do that. If you need to go back and see orders, you just type in your customer name up here and go back and see their orders in there and where they're at, and edit them then, edit them as well at that stage. So that is how to enter a sales order.